Hello, travelers. My name is Thomas the Human Bard, and I am joined by...
Mercy, the Tiefling Wizard.
Onog, the half-orc barbarian.
And Bean, the rogue rock gnome.
And today, we are all off on a... Side quest. We're off on a side quest where we are discussing Unearthed Arcana 2020, spells and magic tattoos. And on this episode of a part 2 that we decided to split into 2 parts because it was going for a while, folks. We're discussing magical tattoos. And I think you'll enjoy our conversation and our discussion on the magic tattoos here. We have some strong opinions that I think you'll find compelling as we discuss them.
Guys, take a look at this magic tattoo I got on my arm.
Oh, why would you show us that? Is that a torso tattoo?
Yeah, well, it's a tattoo of a torso on my arm.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, there's a guy outside of the tavern, like the back door. He's giving out magic tattoos, and he's got this needle that he just sort of dips in some ink, and he just makes them for you.
How?
Oh, that's cool. The torso also has a tattoo of the word "mom" on it.
Yeah.
How much did you pay?
Levels.
Real quick, how much did you pay for that magic tattoo?
I paid 7 copper pieces for it.
I'm sure it's a good
and
tattoo.
I also owe him a large favor.
Don't try to activate whatever spell it's supposed to do. Don't.
Well, he said that if I just touch it, ow.
Yeah.
It's a little infected.
I got a legendary magic tattoo. I'm in deep on it. I got it from this magic talking raccoon. I'm trying to pay off my loan. All right. Oof. That's how we'll segue into the episode, I guess. Have fun. Well, with that wrapped up, let's move on to the second half of the document, which I'm very interested in.
What you all actually came here for.
Yes, we're all chanting. Magic tattoos.
Yeah!
Blending magic and artistry with ink and needles, magic tattoos imbue their bearers with wondrous effects and abilities. Magic tattoos are initially bound to magic needles, which transfer their magic to a creature. The designs of magic tattoos vary greatly in appearance depending on who created it, but they share general characteristics that hint at the effect of the tattoo. Once inscribed on a creature's skin, damage or injury does not impair the tattoo's function, even if the tattoo is defaced. The rarer a magic tattoo is, the more space it occupies on a creature's skin. The magic tattoo coverage table offers guidelines for how large a given tattoo is, and it goes up from common to legendary. Common says 6 inches tattoo, legendary is 2 limbs and the torso.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot.
I'm imagining you could say 2 limbs in your butt, though.
I mean,
like
yeah. Sure.
No, it skips the butt.
And
it's your legs and the torso. The butt is clear.
The question is does your butt count as 2 different limbs?
No. What I'm saying is
the entire...
Let me...
Let
me speak.
Hey, whoa!
Let me speak.
Your torso is everything between your legs and your arms. Your butt is included in your torso.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Your shirt covers your torso. A tank top covers your torso.
Incorrect.
It doesn't...
Your torso is where all of your organs are.
No.
Yes.
Okay, whatever. Because we have different definitions of torso, and based on my definition, which is from, like, your hip bones to your shoulders, it sounds like you're saying 2 limbs in the torso means your arms and your chest. Mm-hmm. But what if it's the other way around, and it's your legs and your butt?
Or maybe,
all the way, it looks like pants.
Or maybe 1 leg and 1 arm. If a dog wore a tattoo...
Oh, and it diagonals.
If a dog wore a legendary tattoo, how would it wear it?
Yes.
Old memes, folks. That's what you came here for.
Well, you don't have a magical tattoo. You have a magical needle that melts onto your skin. Like, those are different things.
I wish...
I don't like the idea that you can physically pass your tattoo to another person.
Yeah.
That's not what tattoos are. That's not how tattoos work.
And I guess the trade-off for saying it's a magical item that lives on you should be, and it lives on you. You can't just...
Yeah, you can't just
hand
give
it off
someone a tattoo.
No, it's like a temp tattoo. It's like a sticker tattoo.
I wish that it just said, like, when I read this, I was like, why does it have to be that the needle melt? Like, why can't it just be expended? Like, why can't it just be that once you've used the needle, it's out, like, it has 1 charge. It has 1 charge, you can make a magic tattoo, and then it's now a mundane tattoo needle. Why does it have to melt into the ink? It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, before we get into any of the specifics, let's talk in general about how the tattoos work. We already have mentioned it with the magic needle, but just there's one paragraph that's exactly the same for every single tattoo. So I wanted to just go through that so we're all on the same page of how these all work. So, tattoo attunement. To attune to this item, you hold the needle to your skin where you want the tattoo to appear, pressing the needle there throughout the attunement process. When the attunement is complete, the needle turns into the ink that becomes the tattoo, which appears on the skin. I agree, kind of weird. If you have multiple magic tattoos, this is very important. They all count as a single magic item with regard to the number of magic items you can attune to. If your attunement to the tattoo ends, the tattoo vanishes, the needle reappears in the closest unoccupied space to you. But now that we've discussed the sort of generals, we can talk now about specific tattoos we like and what they do and stuff.
I think we should first touch on the one that's a spell.
Okay.
Because that is, I feel like, what the people want. It's what everyone's been asking for on the internet
that
forever.
Snack. It's right here. Spell Rot Tattoo. Do you want to read it for us, Mercy?
This tattoo contains
read the, it's a...
Spell Rot Tattoo is a wondrous item. Parentheses, tattoo. Rarity varies.
The rarity varies. Yeah, so it's the rarity will change based on...
There's a chart
spell that you get.
Yeah. So this tattoo contains a single spell of up to 5th level, wrought on your skin by a magic needle. To use the tattoo, you must hold the needle against your skin where you want the tattoo to appear and speak the command word. The needle turns into the ink that becomes the tattoo, which appears on your skin. Once the tattoo is on your skin, you can cast its spell, requiring no material components. The tattoo glows faintly when you cast the spell and for the spell's duration. Once the spell ends, the tattoo vanishes from your skin, so it is single use. The level of the spell in the tattoo determines the spell's saving throw DC, attack bonus, spellcasting ability modifier, and the tattoo's rarity, as shown in the Spell Rot Tattoo table. And that is because even if you're not a caster class, you could have this. So you could cast a spell with a tattoo even if you wouldn't normally even have a spellcasting ability modifier.
You could be a barbarian who has a 5th level spell tattooed on their forehead and have it go off. So you need a DC and an attack bonus and all that kind of stuff.
I do kind of wish that it didn't have the limit of up to 5th level and just the rarities just went all the way up to legendary, because how dope would it be to have like a wish tattoo that you can use once that's like a legendary
I have a wish inscribed
item
in my skin.
The way that you use it, if it's on your arms and your torso, is you gotta hug someone and then they get a wish.
Yeah, because as they have it, 5th level is rare, so that's what it goes up to.
Yeah. I mean, woof. So,
I do like that it is one use, but not like there are some things where I wish it was where I wish it was kind of like the other things where it was just a once a day use, because you could get a cantrip tattoo and then you use it once and then it's gone forever. That's not what cantrips are for.
See, and that's the thing is this sort of, it scratches the itch, but like when you scratch the itch when you have chicken pox, in that it doesn't actually fix the problem. Because,
That's very good. I like that.
You know, where it's like, the itch that people have, they're like, I want my spells to be the tattoos on my body so I can cast them. That's pretty cool. Basically what Onog and I did for our homebrew, it was sort of a background.
It was basically a feat that you got to pick.
It was a feat. We basically made our own feat.
Similar to the dragon tattoos from Eberron.
It was a little bit somewhere in between that, and essentially it was just Magic Initiate, where my character just kind of got to have a couple spells, but through the feat they were just tattoos that he got on his body as part of being a member of this like underground group of hitmen. And basically the thing is, this doesn't necessarily scratch the itch of I have my spell book as tattoos on my body. This scratches the itch of like I have a wand that has 4 charges of this spell and then disappears when it's done, but you just get to keep it on your person.
I think the fantasy I'm seeing of this, everyone needs to kind of go with me on this little journey here.
Okay.
I think this is intended for non-spellcaster classes.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you're a wizard, you don't need to do this. You can already cast spells. Sure, you can get one extra one, I guess, but like it's just not really worth it. But picture this, okay? Remember the important line about tattoo attunement. Although, wait a minute. Does Spell Rot Tattoo not have that paragraph.
Yeah, and that was the thing I was going to bring up. Spell Raw Tattoo is the only one that doesn't have the tattoo attunement rules.
Yeah.
So I guess technically you don't need to attune to these. Or then inversely, if you do need to attune to it, if they all count as one attunement, when you use your spell rot tattoo and it erases itself, does it erase all of your tattoos?
Okay, wait a minute. This does not say requires attunement.
Yeah.
No.
You just don't need to.
Yo.
No.
Okay, so then it's even better. Because that means you can have infinite of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you could have a barbarian.
They can all be... They take up space, but then it's okay to write over them.
But importantly, the space that they take up for a common tattoo is up to 6 inches. It can be as small as you'd like it to be. Up to 6 inches. So the barbarian in the party, everyone's all down and out of spell slots. All of your abilities are out. The barbarian rolls up their sleeve, revealing all of their Spider-Man temporary tattoos. Revealing like 60 of them. And they're all first level spells. And the barbarian just starts casting magic missile every turn.
Just
amazing.
Boom, 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 boom. Infinite magic missiles. And then once they're all gone, the barbarian just like, hit me up back at the tattoo shop. Give me some more.
Yeah, a common item.
They're common.
A common item is like 50 gold.
Yeah. You just go in, you're like, boom, put some more on my arm, baby.
50 gold. You can win these at the arcade.
Yeah, these are Chuck E. Cheese prizes. So I feel like for at least the lower rarity ones,
pretty rad.
The fantasy is having a ton of them, almost like the what's the cloak? The cloak that has patches on it?
Oh, like the cloak of stuff.
Yeah, the cloak of useless junk, where it's like you can pull the patches off and throw them and they turn into the thing. And it's like, you could technically have more patches, or the cloak can roll with more or less patches. You can get so many of these tattoos and have a barbarian who can cast every cantrip and every first level spell in the game because they're not limited by spell class.
That's pretty cool. I will say this. When I was saying this doesn't scratch the itch, I wasn't saying I don't like this tattoo. What I was saying is like, this, if you're sitting here thinking, aha, I finally have a chance to like put my spells into tattoos, that's not what this is. Yeah. I definitely love the image of people who can't normally, let's say you got to send your rogue in to do some reconnaissance and it's not arcane trickster. You can give them like 1 or 2 of these little tattoos so that they can like
in a jam get out of it.
Yeah, in a jam they can have those little things.
That's what I like about these ones, is because they're all not like legendary. They're not going to be huge, ridiculous things. I mean, there are some, don't get me wrong. You can put a couple of fireball spells on a barbarian, and that's a big problem. But for the common ones, you can just say, hey, before you run in, go get a tattoo of, like, invisibility. Just have that on yourself, just in case you need it. Mm-hmm. That's really sick.
It is.
I like it.
I do. Yeah, I like that aspect of it.
I think that's cool.
I've got one that I want to talk about,
but
it's not spell rot.
All right, which one do you want to talk about, Bean?
So let me make sure that this is the correct one. Yes, I want to talk about the Coiling Grasp tattoo, aka the Venom tattoo.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, Wondrous Item tattoo, uncommon, requires attunement. This tattoo has long intertwining designs. Just as a side note, I really appreciate that each description of the tattoo isn't, this is a picture of an octopus. It's just like, long intertwining designs, and then you as a DM or a player can design that yourself.
I like that a lot. It gives you a vague direction, but allows you to go with it how you want to. It can be like evil intertwining or good intertwining. It doesn't ever say.
Yeah, it could just be like holding hands.
Yeah.
Like,
or it could be a mass of flesh, like
long
horribly...
intertwining hands.
Yeah,
is
long
not
intertwining
great.
hands.
A tattoo of perfectly normal
it could be
hands.
it could be like flowering vines, or it could be like horrible tentacles.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
It could be barbed wire.
Yeah,
intertwining.
Nice, gross.
But anyway, it gives you the flavor of like this, because the tattoos they reflect like what they do.
Yeah.
But you get to decide what that is.
Which I think is mostly for the point of, if you come up to a monster, or not a monster, but an NPC, the tattoos could be a giveaway of, oh no, this guy is covered in tentacle tattoos. He's gonna have the tentacle tattoo thing.
One more tangent.
Yes.
I do appreciate that it is kind of interesting that these tattoos, you can't always hide them. If you have, like, a legendary tattoo, you either need to wear, like, a long sleeve shirt, or people are gonna know, oh, they have, like, True Sight.
Yeah, for sure.
Or not True Sight, but they have, like,
whichever
whatever.
The legendary one
They
was.
have 5th level fireball on their person at all times.
Now, there's another one I want to talk about in a second that does specifically discuss the ability to hide the tattoo.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But talk to us about this Coiling Grasp.
Coiling Grasp. While the tattoo's on your skin, you can, as an action, cause the tattoo to extrude into inky tendrils, which reach for a creature you can see within 15 feet of you. The creature must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw, or take 3d6 force damage and be grappled by you. As an action, the creature can escape the grapple by succeeding on a DC 14 strength or dexterity check. The grapple also ends if you halt it, no action required, or if the creature is ever more than 15 feet away from you, or if you use this tattoo on a different creature. So basically, it's just kind of you Indiana Jones whip him for a sec. But I do love that it is the ink of the tattoo shoots out of you in venom-like tendrils. Venom being the, like, Marvel villain. And so, well, villain, sometimes hero. But
Anti-hero.
Thank you. I love this idea of just, like, you look and someone has like a little intertwiney bracelet tattoo, and you're like, interesting. And then later they're like, whoosh, and they just have massive tendrils that shoot out of the
15
tattoo.
feet away.
It's just lust
Now,
from
I have another
Alchemist,
horrifying image.
I do love the idea, though, that, like, what if it slapped black ink onto the person?
Yeah,
like, when the
ooh.
tendrils went away, the person was, like, covered in ink stains, like, where the tendrils got them.
Now we're
I
epic
do have
Mickey,
a-
folks.
I do have a horrifying realization, though.
Yes.
There is no, if you use this, it can't be used again until the next dawn.
Nope.
Oh.
You can just do this whenever you want.
Yeah.
You just...
It is an action, so you got to use your action.
It's just
but,
a different kind of attack.
Yeah, it just gives you a new kind of attack you can use. And one of my favorite things about all of these is that they're not limited for who can get the tattoo. A monk could get this tattoo, but also, like, a cute little, like, bard could get this tattoo. It doesn't care. Like, anyone can have it.
Gnome bard.
Well, and, like, a bard or a druid, like, maybe you have moonbeam, and then you shoot your tendrils out, and you, like, hold the person in the moonbeam.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like it. That's one of my favorite things about all of these tattoos is that just due to the nature of it being a tattoo connected to your body, activating this sort of spell, there's a lot of really great imagery and flavor baked right in from the beginning that you're like, oh yeah, I see how this works. Very cool. All right, let's talk about real quick absorbing tattoo, because I think it's pretty decent. It's a very rare tattoo. It incorporates a design that emphasizes a specific color more than other colors. And while the tattoo is on your skin, you have resistance to a type of damage associated with that color as shown on the table below. I do wish it was a little bit more like you and your DM agree which color means what. But
yeah, I was like, lightning isn't yellow. Lightning is like light blue.
Yeah, it gives you like green. But this, what it does do is it normalizes it. So if you see an enemy with violet tattoos, you go, oh no, he's going to deal poison damage, or he's going to be resistant to poison damage.
It's a universal system.
It's a universal system, yeah. So how it works is that when you take damage of the chosen type, you can use your reaction to gain immunity against that instance of the damage. And you regain a number of hit points equal to half the damage you would have taken. Once this reaction is used, you can't use it till the next dawn.
Yeah.
But that's so good. You get hit by the dragon's breath weapon attack, and you just go, psych. You heal.
It's stupid good.
Yeah, it's really
I heal 200
It's
points.
I love this very
especially much. If you work in like a magical tattoo shop into your world, and it's less of a find a magical tattoo in a dungeon and more of a, do you just have enough money to pay the guy who demands a certain level of money or a favor or a quest for him or something?
Yeah.
Because then you could plan it out and be like, we know we're going to fight that red dragon later. We all need to get absorbing fire tattoos together as a group as sort of like a bonding thing, but also so we don't die.
Well, and that's the thing where the fact that it's actually a magical needle kind of irks me. when I was reading this, I was like, oh, I have this idea for an NPC that's just a wizard tattoo artist that you have to go up to them and they're just covered in tattoos and they're like, hey, I can help you out. What do you need? What do you want? I'm very good at my job. And then I read the line where it's like, oh, actually it's a magical needle that you have to attune to and it presses against your skin. And I'm like, oh, so it's just a magical needle salesman, not a tattoo artist. And like that mild flavor disconnect just jostles me so much.
Yep, I get you.
I feel the exact
same way.
If I were to implement these into my campaign, I would get rid of that aspect of it instantaneously. They still require attunement, but it's just that, just like any other item on your person that you are not attuned to, the tattoo is still on your skin and you can then choose to attune to it later.
I totally see why the Wizards of the Coast had to do it this way, even though it's worse, because if it's just that the tattoo is magical, anyone who knows the right sigil can tattoo this magic symbol on you, and now this tattoo is magic, then it's not like a magic item you can find in the world that there's a limited number of, and it exists sort of outside of the existing magic item system, and I get that they had to find a way to fit it in, but it doesn't feel as good. So I think it's one of those things where in your own game, you should totally do it the other way, but I get why they had to write it this way.
Offering services, purchasing magical items, purchasing spell services from people like clerics and wizards is a thing, so why can't the same thing be drawing a tattoo? Like my character has seen the sigil for warding signs or whatever, warding sigil or whatever the spell is called. That doesn't mean they can cast the spell. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, scrolls exist, and you can look at a scroll, but that doesn't mean that you can make a scroll of water breathing, you know?
If you don't actually know the spell, yeah.
I mean, I think you would just have to say at the beginning, there are people who do these tattoos, and you would have to add a stipulation that basically says, like, while they are not everywhere, they are not difficult to find.
But that depends on the rarity, right? Is it that a tattoo artist who can do this is a legendary item? I mean, you see how it gets weird?
Well, no,
it gets
but that's
weird.
The thing is we're trying to disconnect it from being an item.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It requires a legendary tattoo artist to make legendary tattoos.
But
if you get Joe Schmo who will give you a tattoo for $5, that's not a legendary tattoo, my friend.
But they can't write that into their system as it exists.
I think they absolutely can. That's why I'm very irked by this.
I mean, I guess part of what I'm saying is it is an unearthed arcana. So yeah, if you're going to make magic tattoos and you want the tattoo artist to do it, this is the place to add that system to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely room to explore designing that system. I understand why. I guarantee you it was like either somebody, working late at night and they're thinking about it and they have this idea, or they're in a pitch meeting with each other about solving this problem and they say, I'm designing tattoos, but how do I make it work where you can't just all go get infinite of them, or you can't force somebody to do it, or I'm getting confused about the system. And somebody went, ooh, what if we make the
needle the item,
socket it into our magic item system? Because there's already tables for that. There's already guidance in the DMG about how often people should get what rarities of magic items. That's already existing. Put it into that and it will streamline it. But I agree with you where I don't know if that was the right direction to go. I think that
I don't think that's the correct.
I think it makes sense why they would think, aha, here we go. This is how we can slot it in. But I don't know if it succeeds on all the ways I want it to.
So yeah, if I were to do this, your tattoos require attunement. I love that. It works. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. And then from what I was reading, there isn't a stipulate. Like, it says that the tattoos take up space, but there's no, and it says if you were to cut it or disfigure the tattoo doesn't remove its ability. I would get rid of that because that implies you can just draw another tattoo over this tattoo.
Yeah.
And that it all still counts as one attunement. So I would immediately get rid of that because that defeats the entire purpose of having the tattoo take up size on a person. I would say if the tattoo is damaged, if your arm got cut off, you have to get the tattoo again or have to have it replaced.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, in D&D right now, if your magic item gets broken in half, does it still function? Like, do you,
Yeah.
as a player
Like,
and a DM, how do you solve
definitely
that
do that.
problem, you know?
And part of the thing that why the way the system currently irks me is that a tattoo is a permanent decision. Like that, with modern technology notwithstanding. So the idea that it is literally just a needle that you can unattune from and just pass to your friends
Ew.
is like, it's one,
it's
that's
weird.
gross.
Yeah.
Two, that's not what a tattoo is. And so I would have it be like, yes, it requires attunement, but if you get a third magical item that you're like, oh, but my tattoos are taking up my attunement slot, then, like I said before, like any magical item in your inventory, you can just be unattuned to it and you don't get the benefits of it. So you can unattune from all of your tattoos if that hammer of Giant's Bane is worth it in this
But they don't
scenario.
melt off of you.
But they don't melt off because they're tattoos on your body.
Ooh, here we go.
I think
I
that
have an
works so
idea.
much better.
I have an idea, a concept. Bear with me for just a moment. We'll get to more of the tattoos in a second, folks. We promise. Instead of it being the needle, which we all agree, little weird, don't really love that. What if it was the ink itself is the magical item? Similar to, you might remember this system from D&D, a potion system, if you will. You can find a potion of healing that's not in the bottle. It doesn't say the bottle's part of it. It could be a potion of healing somebody has thrown into a vase real quick to hide it. Like, it could be in another container. You could find a container of magical ink that is specifically imbued with this power that if you take the time to attune to it, it uses all of the ink from the bottle because it's a set amount of ink and it gives you the spell's benefit. And then it's much more about finding somebody who can use that ink correctly, I guess. Maybe perhaps there'd be something like that, or it'd be literally like real tattoo artists, just how cool does it look?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could think of it this way. Whenever you buy a magic item, but I'm talking buy a magic item, you have to go to a person who sells those. And certain shops are going to have more mundane items, and certain shops are going to have less mundane items. Now, of course, you can find cool things in a dungeon.
Sure.
So that's the thing is, I think one of the main problems you get is, yeah, this cool tattoo artist, but then it doesn't ever give you the ability to, like, find a tattoo in a dungeon, which isn't how tattoos work, but I don't know if they just...
You could find, like, the pattern for one.
Yeah, like, maybe, or maybe...
And I guess there's a little bit of that where is the tattoo the design of the tattoo and its symbols? Is the tattoo the ink within the tattoo in your skin, no matter what shape it's in?
Is it a melted needle?
Is it a melted needle that can into your skin?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, what if there are needles that have charges, but only a tattoo artist can use them? So you could find a needle, but then you would have to take it to a tattoo artist.
You have to be
and
proficient
that's
in
just
tattoo
making
artist
it more
tools.
complicated.
Oh, maybe you could.
Yeah, or something like that. But the thing I'm thinking of is it's just like if you were to buy a scroll from a cleric, a scroll of healing or resurrection. It's just, instead of clerics, if you want a tattoo, you have to go to a tattoo artist. And if you want a magical tattoo, you have to go to a magical tattoo artist. It's the same thing, and I don't understand why there's a disconnect with that.
Sure. All right, let's talk about the next one, which I think, Onog, you'll be interested in a little bit at least. The barrier tattoo.
Oh, I definitely like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depicts protective imagery and uses ink resembling liquid metal. While you aren't wearing armor, the tattoo grants you an armor class depending on the tattoo's rarity. So, uncommon, rare, and very rare. Very rare gives you an AC of 18. You can also still use a shield with this benefit.
And I think the best part about this tattoo is it is replicating as though you were wearing armor. So obviously uncommon is you are wearing light armor. You are wearing the best light armor, studded leather. Rare is you are wearing the best medium armor, a 15 plus your dexterity modifier, a maximum of 2. And then very rare is you are clearly wearing plate armor, 18. But the thing is that none of that counts as wearing plate armor. Or none of it counts as actually wearing armor. So a barbarian or a monk can wear those, and it doesn't inhibit their, as long as you are not wearing XYZ armor abilities.
Yeah.
And they can still gain the benefit of them. And
good.
they can choose because like the little box says, AC calculations don't stack. You have to pick which one you're using.
You can have this and still cast shield. Have an AC of 23.
Yeah, you can have this and still cast shield. It doesn't matter. But that's the thing, is like if you got a rare one as a monk, which is 15 plus 2 of your dexterity modifier, which is a max of 17, and then your AC increases naturally with your monk abilities to 18, you can then just go, okay, I'm just using that AC, whichever one is higher first. And then I can change this tattoo out later or increase it or something like that.
I liked the image that you could wear really crap armor, but you secretly have a tattoo that's really big.
Yeah,
so the people fighting you think like, oh, they don't have good armor. And then they go to stab you and it's like, boom, and it like bounces off. And then you like rip off the padded armor and it's like, nah, they have a torso tattoo. And they're like, no.
It's I think wearing the equivalent of plate armor.
I think Mercy brings up a good point though. Casting shield, a wizard can get an AC of 18.
Oof! No squishy, no mo.
Hey, some of us wizards just have an AC of 18 no matter what.
While blade singing, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's really good. It basically, I mean, depending on how you run, how easy it is to get this tattoo, can sort of minimize armor class in your game immediately.
Yeah.
And just be like, everyone has 18 AC. Don't worry about it.
Well, and you guys forget that very rare items are like 40,000 gold.
Oh, no, I know. But I'm saying, like, depending on how you as a DM run magic items, some people start off with very rare items because they say, oh, I don't like those boring early levels where you don't have anything cool. You could easily just like eliminate an entire element of the game by saying everyone has barrier tattoos.
Everyone has them. As someone who has played multiple paladins at like first level that start the game, especially Warforged paladins that start the game at like 20 AC, I can tell you it's a little overrated. That character dies all the time because the goblins keep getting lucky rolls and hitting him constantly. No matter what
you can have the world's highest AC and still get hit, you know?
They can still crit.
They can still crit you and kill you no matter what.
Well, I think that this is also cool because, like you said, the wizard can get it. But then it also allows, like, for sneaky classes like rangers and rogues, you don't have to deal with, like, and my armor goes clang, clang, clang.
Yeah.
And, or even, like, some armor, you can't wear it if you're not strong enough. But this way you can just, you're like, it doesn't weigh anything. It's a tattoo.
You could have, like, a dex-based paladin that just has a tattoo on. Like, that's actually...
It's a cool way of getting around.
That's cool.
It's cool. This is a good sign of a cool idea where it's just like, oh, it just opens up the game to different ideas and concepts that didn't exist before.
I know one of my earliest characters, I liked the image of him always being, like, shirtless and having tattoos because of his, like, now he was a fighter though, but he essentially was kind of like in an underground boxing ring, and so I liked the image of him having that old-timey boxer look to him. But essentially, he was always wearing like a big breastplate technically because he was wearing armor, and so this would allow you to kind of get the aesthetic too.
Just a tattooed shirtless sailor with an armor class of 18.
Yeah. Very good. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we've got, let's touch on Eldritch Claw Tattoo. This depicts claw-like forms and jagged shapes. This is like a tacky tribal tattoo. You gain a plus...
Doesn't have to be.
No, it has to be. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with unarmed strikes. And then you get the ability Eldritch Maul. As a bonus action, you can empower the tattoo for 1 minute. For the duration, each of your melee weapon attacks can reach a target up to 30 feet away from you.
Heck yeah.
As tendrils of ink launch from your weapon or unarmed strike toward the target. Yet again, sort of a venom tattoo. In addition, your melee weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit.
Oof.
Once used, this bonus action can't be used until the next dawn. But the bonus action just turns on the ability. You have it for a minute.
This is definitely one of my favorites, but I love Eldritch flavored stuff, and I think this one's great.
Even if it was just, it didn't have as much ability, but it just made your unarmed strikes magic, just that is cool.
Yeah.
Because monks get that eventually. But, like, you know, if there were gloves that you could wear that made your fists magic, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
Onog the Game Breaker coming through here.
Yes, hello.
It doesn't say that it has to be on your hands.
No, correct. It could be anywhere.
You just have to have a tattoo. And once again, it's an uncommon tattoo, so that's like that's half of a limb.
Yep.
So you could theoretically stack these.
On multiple turns, bonus action,
Yeah.
bonus action.
No. Well, first of all, yeah, multiple turns,
one on
but also
different limb, like one on your left hand.
Well, no,
one
that's
on
the
your
thing.
right hand.
You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with unarmed attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anywhere where it says that getting multiple instances of Eldritch Claw Tattoo doesn't stack with that bonus. So
You could have
and
4
these are
of these.
uncommon items. Yeah, you could
have
get 4 of
8.
these.
Well,
And that's like
half a
that's like
limb.
more powerful than some of the most rare magical weapons in the game. And this is an uncommon item, which is like maybe 100 to 200 gold.
That's fair. Yeah, they may want to consider that.
And that also means that you get multiple instances of using your bonus action to increase your damage output and attack range.
Yeah, well, so on a single attack, if I have if 2 of my tattoos are both empowered at the same time, does it deal 2d6 force damage on a hit now? Because there's
I think
2 instances of the tattoo, each adding 1d6 force damage.
Yeah, that's where we get a little hinky about like how many.
Yeah, because
tattoos
there
can
are
have
rules
going.
where it's like, then this is probably just going to need to be errated or clarified in this instance.
Yeah, I mean, it's an
But there
Unearthed
are rules
Arcana,
where
yeah.
you cannot be under the effects of the same spell twice.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if a wizard cast haste on the sorcerer and then the sorcerer cast haste on himself, there would still only be 1 instance of haste effective.
That's true.
Yeah.
But this is not a spell, or even an ability that replicates a spell.
This is a magical item, and
magical item.
technically, wearing magical items, as long the only limitation is attunement. But we've already
Yeah.
bypassed attunement by
Yeah.
saying all of your tattoos counts as 1 attunement.
I mean, I definitely want to make a character that is an NPC, like he's a peasant, but he has every single one of these tattoos.
I think that might be a problem, having them all count as 1 attunement. I think that is a little broken.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I like that, but the issue is that, like, then when they add that rule, like I mentioned before, of like disfiguring the tattoo doesn't cause it to change its features, and I think that's the rule that needs to change, so that there still are only a limited number of these things that you can even get, or it needs to be stipulated that like getting more of the same tattoo has no effect as far as the constant effect are considered.
You can only
you
have
can
1
only-
of each.
One of
Well,
each.
not that you can only have 1 of each, but just that
You can
like
only have 1 active
you can
at a
get
time?
you can get 8 coiling, or you can get Eldritch Claw tattoos, but that just means that you have 8 instances of you can use a bonus action to extend your reach, and those abilities don't stack on each other, so you can't just stack up the extra
So you
d6.
can use the tattoos a bunch of times so that you don't only
you
get
can't
1
use them
use
at
per
the
day,
same
but you
time.
can't stack them.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think
That's a way.
that would make it work better.
That's fair.
So, and that is kind of a neat thing, where this is one of the rare instances of like getting something that increases your once a day uses of something. And I do kind of like that aspect of it, but not stacking them on top of each other so that you literally cannot miss your attacks and they're doing infinite damage.
Yeah. I do fundamentally, though, just not understand why they should all count as 1 attunement, just because they're all on my body. If all my other magic items are in my hands, they don't count as 1 attunement. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why? Like, why wouldn't they be their own attunement slots?
Because you can combine and blend tattoos
Yeah, I like the
together.
idea of it being a combining and blending.
But mechanically,
I think
Sure.
I think specifically it's for some of the lower rarity ones. I think that's the goal, is because some of them are not worth it. But I think
then they probably just shouldn't
they
require
shouldn't require
attunement.
it. I
Yeah.
agree. But attunement is how they've sort of flavored the tattooing process, which is the weird part. So like,
Yeah.
Which is,
I see
once
there's
again,
a
we
couple
run
of
into the
decisions
issue.
yet again all kind of coming to a crossroads of, man, is this solving problems or is it creating more?
And it's Unearthed Arcana, it's playtest
Yeah.
material. It's not
Yeah.
it's not flawlessly streamlined yet.
Definitely.
I think that obviously these weren't necessarily truly meant to be magic items, but making them magic items was just the quickest way to streamline them, and then...
I agree.
But then you don't want to say, well, you can't have boots of thievery, or gloves of thievery, because you have too many tattoos. It's like, what?
Boots of thievery, you're really good at pickpocketing with your toes.
But I definitely want to make, like, a character named Eddie Brock that is a barbarian that has all these...
The tendrily ones?
All these tendrily attack tattoos, and they're just a melee brawl character that they enter a rage, and then their tattoos all activate, kind of.
Well,
that's cool.
I think that character would like the next tattoo, the Blood Fury tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
I would also like this tattoo. It's a very good tattoo.
That's my Blood Fury sound.
This tattoo evokes fury in its form and colors. While this tattoo is on your skin, you gain the following benefits. So you get to crit on a 19 or 20. When you get a critical hit, they take extra 4d6 necrotic damage, and you gain temporary hit points equal to that necrotic damage dealt. And then when a creature you can see damages you, you can use a reaction to make a melee attack against them with advantage on your attack roll. This is a legendary tattoo, because this is one of the best ones in the whole document.
It's not a thing once a day. This is just who you are now.
This is just who you are now. It's really good.
It's very good. As my Onog build is like a crit fisher build, where the whole point is to get as many critical hits in a round as possible, this makes me water at the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I want this tattoo so bad.
He has a cup under his chin right now, guys.
What's the champion fighter? How at their best one, it's like they crit on an 18, 19, or 20?
Yeah, at level 3 they crit on a 19 or a 20, and then as they level up, they eventually become able to crit on an 18. Yeah. 19 or 20. Mm-hmm. So this is not for them. Well, this is for barbarians.
Well, but the interesting thing is that while that first part doesn't apply, because it's like they already get that part, the second part doesn't care how you crit. It just cares if you crit or not.
Yep.
So a person who crits far more often than other people, this is still very good for them.
It's still very good, yeah.
They're getting all that damage, getting the temp healing back, and then they're also getting, like, basically free reaction attacks. Not free, you spend your reaction, but normally you can't attack somebody back when it's not your turn unless they trigger an attack of opportunity.
And the fact that you get advantage on the attack roll outside of your turn, because that's normally the thing, is like barbarians have reckless attack, which allows them advantage on all attack rolls they make, or all melee attack rolls they make on their turn, which they can't use on reaction attacks. So this is a great example of like, well, I'm gonna do this and I have advantage. I'm gonna do this every time.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you're incentivizing people to attack you by attacking with reckless attack because it grants them advantage against you. So it's a very good synergy.
Definitely. All right, the next one is the Illuminator's tattoo. This is a common one, and reflecting that, it's not really that it's fine flavor-wise, but it's not very powerful.
I love it.
It's neat. While this tattoo contains beautiful calligraphy, images of writing implements, and the like. While the tattoo is on your skin, you can write with your fingertip as if it were an ink pen that never runs out of ink.
Doesn't say it has to be on paper, so you can draw mustaches on people.
You can draw graffiti on the dungeon all you want.
It's kind of gross that you now have a new
bodily secretion.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually find it really off-putting.
Yeah, it's a little gross.
I love it!
As an action, you can touch a piece of writing up to 1 page in length. This is importantly not a piece of writing necessarily that you made, just a piece of writing. Up to 1 page in length, and speak a creature's name. The writing becomes invisible to everyone other than you and the named creature for the next 24 hours. Either of you... Sorry, what?
Go ahead.
Either of you can dismiss the invisibility by touching the script. No action required. Once used, you can't use again until the next dawn.
See, I like that it's not just something you wrote, because maybe there's a spell book that the big bad is coming and it has a specific spell in it, and you could just be like, boink, and it's like invisible to them.
Uh-huh. But you can still see it.
You can still see it, but then they're going to come and look for the spell and not be able to find it.
I feel like this is the kind of ability that I would take, and I'd have all these ideas in my head of like, oh, it'll be so cool when I get to do this with it, but none of it'll ever happen.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I getcha. I think
but
the most
I mean,
useful...
this is basically free. It's a common tattoo, which means it would probably cost around 50 gold.
Which means everybody in the party could get it. And you could just have essentially like a group chat.
Gross. Ugh.
On the side
but you can only, it's not a group chat, it's private messaging, but you all have the ability to do that.
No, but it's just on the side of the wagon. You know, you can write, like, out, getting berries, BRB.
But if you want to DM somebody, you can make it invisible for everybody else. So you can draw a flirtatious selfie of yourself and make it invisible.
You can be like, oh my gosh, like Aladric, our ranger elf friend, is being so broody and annoying today, and he can't see it.
Yeah.
So you're just like texting.
But then 24 hours passed.
You got to remember to erase it.
You have to remember to erase it.
Now, what I don't like is that it doesn't give you another finger that is an eraser for it.
No, it's an ink pen, not a pencil. It's ink.
It's magic. It's magic ink.
But
so
it
you
doesn't
have,
go away.
Your index finger.
It's ink that is it's still so weird that you now produce
literally
ink.
so gross.
You're just a squid
It
man.
has your DNA. Ink has your DNA.
It comes from the tattoo, guys.
You're both...
you don't produce
ink.
It
didn't phrase it like that.
I think that you are both now a kid and a squid, is what happened. All right, the next one is the Life Well tattoo, a rare tattoo.
This one's cool.
This tattoo comprises symbols of life and rebirth. While this tattoo is on your skin, you have resistance to necrotic damage. Very good.
Oof.
Death Ward. When you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you drop to 1 hit point instead.
You're an orc now.
Once used, this benefit can't be used again till the next dawn.
Very cool.
Question. Why wouldn't everyone always get this tattoo forever, every party?
Because it's rare, so... your DM might not let you find it. Like, that's why.
Also, and that's one of the things, is that it takes up a whole limb.
It does take up a whole limb, but it also means you can basically never die.
I do just sort of think that's, like, a non-question, though. Like, because you could say that about every really good magic item.
I know. I'm just saying, picture a whole party who has basically the Mario 1-up, and it's just like, you thought you got me, but you didn't.
Well, but that's the thing. To go back to what Bean was talking about, is like, you can't find tattoos. If it wasn't for the fact that it was a needle, you can't find tattoos in dungeons. What if, like, there is a tattoo artist, but he just doesn't know the tattoo for this, and you need to go find the patterns. And so that's the thing. It's the same thing with a magical store. You know, if you go to Mortigan's Magical Menagerie, what's to stop you from buying all of the rarest magical items? Well, he only has a couple.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're rare, yeah.
All right, Ghost Step tattoo is a rare tattoo. Shifts and wavers on the skin, parts of it appearing blurred. It has 3 charges and regains all expended charges daily at dawn. So you can use it as a bonus action while the tattoo is on your skin. You can expend 1 of its charges to become incorporeal until the end of your next turn. For the duration, you gain the following benefits. Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. You can't be grappled or restrained, and you can move through creatures and solid objects as if they were difficult terrain. And then you get the normal kind of rider for that of if you end your turn in an object. You turn into a ghost, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really fun. It's only till the end of your next turn, so it's short term, but it's like, all right, I activate my tattoo and I walk through the wall. Mm-hmm. Bye.
I do find it interesting that they forgot the paragraph that says you have to speak the command, I'm going ghost.
I'm going ghost. The next tattoo is the Masquerade tattoo, which Bean you'd mentioned earlier. A common tattoo, so very easy to get, and it's small, only about 6 inches large. This tattoo appears on your skin as whatever you desire.
Yeah, man.
As a bonus action, you can shape the tattoo into any color or pattern and move it to any area of your skin. You want a character who can remold their tattoos at will? Here you go. We got it for you. Whatever form it takes, it is obviously a tattoo. You can't, like, make it into a wound and be like, I've been stabbed, because they go,
or a mole.
It's a tattoo.
It's a tattoo of a wound.
You can't say it. I make it look like a birthmark. It's like, okay, it definitely looks like it is a tattoo of a birthmark.
Yeah.
I make my tattoo look like the badge, the officer's badge in my palm, and I hold it up. Cops, and like, why do you have a tattoo of a police badge?
That's incredible.
Yeah. It can range in size no smaller than 1 copper piece to an intricate work that covers all your skin.
So this is one of the only common ones that can be bigger.
Yeah, it can grow in size.
Well, they all could theoretically be bigger.
No, it says up to 6 inches.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
It also gives it a minimum of no smaller than a copper piece, where the other ones don't have a minimum.
So you can't be like, it's the size of a grain of rice.
Yeah,
no one
it's
can
not
see
there.
it.
They can't find it. Yeah.
Yeah, invisible. And then it has, you can use the tattoo to cast Disguise Self as an action, and you can do it once per day, basically. Which is fine.
Now,
Disguise Self is often useful, but often just used sort of for, like, roleplay and story stuff.
Buffoonery.
Yeah, buffoonery
But
is
I
a
mean,
good...
this whole tattoo is kind of buffoonish.
It's a little bit. That's fair.
But even just getting to move it around and be like, ooh, today I want to have a tattoo of a bird on my wrist because I feel like emotional.
Well, and the cool thing about the masquerade tattoo is that in kind of what you were talking about earlier, Thomas, is that, you know, this could be an indicator, like, you see this guy has, like, tendril tattoos on his arms. That means he's got the tendril attack. So you, as the masquerade tattoo artist or whatever, you can then start replicating other people's tattoos and giving off, like, an intentionally incorrect
you make it look like you have the Blood Fury tattoo, and everyone's like, no.
Don't mess
Everyone's
around
like, don't
with
mess
that.
with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
The last tattoo, Shadowfell Brand Tattoo. Very rare, the tattoo is dark in color and abstract. While on your skin, you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. Shadowy defense. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to become shadowy and insubstantial for a moment, reducing the damage you take by half. Once used, this reaction can't be used again until the next dawn.
So you kind of foof for a second.
Yeah, you turn into sort of a shadow person, and the dagger passes through you. You still take some damage, but only half.
So you you get uncanny dodge, but because you're shadowy.
It's kind of a version of what the Shadowfell elf guys have, right?
Shadowkai?
Yeah. Oh no, don't the Shadowkai have something similar?
The Shadowkai just have Misty Step, but it makes you resistant to all damage.
Kind of similar. Mm-hmm. You get like a basic resistance, kind of.
Yeah, no, you can't bamf for anything, but it basically gives you the...
It is interesting, though, that, like, you can Batman bamf because it just gives you advantage on dexterity rolls irrelevant of situation or anything. You are just now always better at stealth.
Yeah.
And
no matter where you are.
I mean, that's why it's very rare. I like as you go up the rarity totem pole that certain effects are more and more permanent.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, and like that's a very cool aesthetic about the abilities that I'm noticing.
I think overall, a lot of what these tattoos are really good for is leaning harder into a flavor or taking an ability that isn't really available to you in your class but fits your character. Like if you're trying to be a shadowy, stealthy character but you're not a rogue, you can take that.
You and it just the shadow tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. It can give you the part of that other class that you aren't but want.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It can augment your current abilities.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're sitting here being like, but why would you get that as a rogue? You already can do it. And it's like, you wouldn't. Maybe you wouldn't want it as a rogue. You might want it as a wizard who doesn't normally do that kind of thing.
As a wizard who wishes they were a rogue.
You might do that as a barbarian or whatever.
On that note, the Blood Fury tattoo would go great on an assassin rogue.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that hurts me. All right. With that final horrible thought of the sheer amount of dice you'd have to roll. Folks, if you have thoughts about these spells or the magical tattoos, let us know about them. Also send us your homebrews to our email, thecopperfoxinn@gmail.com, or on Instagram or Twitter @thecopperfoxinn. Comment below with your favorite magic tattoo. Which one do you think is the most powerful? Or your thoughts on solving this sort of tattoo ink needle tattoo artist problem that's been noted by all of us as we've discussed the tattoos. How do you think Wizards of the Coast could go around resolving that? Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for future Dungeons & Dragons homebrew discussion content. And I think that's it. I think the side quest is over.
Yep.
Let's turn it in for XP.
Woo.
Nobody even died.
We all leveled up.
Oh!
Because we all had the one tattoo, the Lifewell tattoo.
Yeah.
We all died once, but we had the Lifewell tattoo, so we
good.
lived.
We leveled up? Oh, I'm level 2 now.
Nice.
Wait, Bean, have you not been leveling up with the rest of us?
I haven't been going on the side quests with you guys most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
What level are you guys?
7.
Yeah.
What?
Well, some
8
of us
now,
have
so,
been.
Well, 8, yeah.
Some
8
of
now.
us have been farming and grinding outside. So
Farming in D&D.
My background is farmer.